We're jumping straight into Unity software today. Everyone is watching the price action, but the real story is the guidance shock versus the restructuring plan.
Exactly. You're tuned into the Easy Money Show, where we make sense of the market's biggest moves. I'm glad you're with us.
And if you enjoy getting straight to the point without the fluff, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It helps us keep delivering these breakdowns to you every single day. Now let's set the scene, because if you looked at your portfolio yesterday, you might have felt a little sick.
Sick might be an understatement. I mean, it is Thursday, February 12, 2026, and just yesterday, on the 11th, we watched Unity software absolutely plummet.
Plummet is the right word.
We are talking about a drop between, 25% and 32% in a single trading session, all after their fourth quarter earnings report.
It was a bloodbath.
Yeah.
And usually when you see a haircut like that, losing a third of your value in 6 hours, you just assume the business is fundamentally broken.
Right.
You assume they missed every single target, the CEO quit, the building caught on fire, something catastrophic.
That is the logical assumption. But here's where it gets paradoxical and honestly pretty fascinating. If you actually look at the numbers they reported for Q4 2025, they didn't miss.
They didn't.
No, they actually beat earnings estimates.
Which makes this whole thing incredibly confusing. They pulled in $338 million in revenue. That's an 11% increase year over year. In a vacuum, that's a green flag.
Right. A double-digit revenue increase, a beat on the bottom line, and yet the market treated it like an absolute disaster. It just brings us back to the core mechanic of how Wall Street actually values these things. It's not about what you just did.
It's the "what have you done for me lately" problem.
Applied to the future, exactly. It's all about the dreaded guidance.
Guidance, okay.
The market is a forward-looking machine. It discounts all future cash flows back to today. So when management gave a revenue forecast for Q1 2026 that was way softer than Wall Street models, the whole thing just broke.
Let's drill into that, because I think retail investors get burned here all the time. They see the beat headline and they buy in. Yeah. While the institutions see the guidance miss and they're all selling, why was this Q1 forecast so rattling? Was it just a little light, or was it a thesis changer?
It was read as a deceleration, a big one. Investors were pricing in an acceleration, this idea that the restructuring from last year was finally going to turn the jets on.
Okay.
Instead, management basically put up a yellow light. They suggested the early part of 26 is going to be sluggish, and in this kind of interest rate environment, uncertainty is the enemy. You don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore.
So the thesis we need to explore today isn't just did they have a bad quarter, it's whether this massive reaction is even rational. Is this a capitulation low?
That is the key question. A capitulation low is that moment where everyone who is even thinking about selling finally panics and hits the button.
It flushes out all weak hands.
Totally. It gets rid of the tourists, and often it marks the bottom of a move because there is, literally no one left to sell.
But to figure out if it's capitulation or just the start of something worse, we have to look at the business itself. Let's play devil's advocate against the market. Let's build the bull case. Why would anyone be buying this falling knife at roughly $30?
Well, you have to start with the moat. And when we talk about Unity, the moat is wide and it is deep. It is one of the few true duopolies in all of tech.
It's basically them and Epic Games' Unreal Engine. That's it.
Correct. And Unity's dominance is specifically in the volume game. We aren't just talking about a piece of software you can swap out like, Word for Google Docs.
Yeah.
This is a real-time 3D engine. If you are a game developer, whether you are an indie making a mobile puzzle game or a big studio, you are likely building on Unity.
I want to push on that stickiness, because I think people really underestimate the technical debt involved here. If I'm a studio and I've built my entire pipeline on Unity, can I just switch to Unreal?
Theoretically, yes. Practically, it's a complete nightmare. I mean, think about it. You have spent 5 years mastering C#, which is Unity's scripting language. You've built libraries of assets, physics interactions. All of it works inside Unity's architecture. To switch to Unreal, you have to learn a whole new language, C++A, rebuild your entire asset pipeline, and retrain your whole staff.
So the switching cost isn't just money. It's time and brain power.
Exactly. It would stall your production for a year, maybe more. That stickiness is incredibly valuable. It means their revenue is more recurring than it appears because customers are essentially locked in. And the numbers back this up. They hold something like 70% market share in mobile gaming. That is just dominance.
Okay, so they have the users trapped in a good way for the business.
Yeah.
But are they making money off them? Because I was looking at the margins, and they actually surprised me, given the stock drop.
They are impressive. Gross margins are setting at a really robust 74.3%.
74%. That's legitimate software at scale territory. That's like Adobe or Salesforce levels of efficiency.
It tells us that the core business, the actual engine and the subscriptions, is highly efficient. For every dollar they bring in, they are keeping about 74 cents before operating expenses. It's a very healthy foundation.
So the problem hasn't been making the money.
No, it's been spending it.
The burn rate.
Yeah.
This company's been famous for just lighting cash on fire to chase growth.
Historically, yes. But this connects to that restructuring point you made right at the top.
Yeah.
We have to remember Project Reset.
Project Reset. It sounds like some generic corporate slogan, but this was actually pretty brutal, wasn't it?
Oh, it was dramatic. In 2024, the company cut 25% of its workforce. We are talking thousands of jobs. It was painful, generated a lot of bad press.
Right.
But now, in early 2026, we are seeing the mathematical result of that.
So the argument is that the bloat is gone. They're leaner now.
Precisely. They're targeting a material expansion in operating margins. They've consolidated tools, slimmed down the team, they're more focused. So the bull argument is that the market is punishing them for a revenue blip, for that guidance miss, while completely ignoring that the company is structurally more profitable per employee than it has ever been. And there's another layer to this bull case that I think gets overlooked because everyone just thinks video games. Unity isn't just for gaming anymore. They're making a big push into industry.
The diversification strategy. This is absolutely crucial for their long-term survival. They are expanding into what we call digital twins.
I love this concept, but it often gets described in this vague marketing speak. Can you break it down for us, like a tangible example of a digital twin that makes money?
Sure. Let's take an airport. Instead of just managing the physical airport, you build a perfect real-time 3D replica of the terminal in Unity. You hook it up to real-time data, IoT sensors.
Now, you can simulate passenger flow. You can ask, what happens if we shut down security gate B? And the simulation shows you the bottleneck before it ever happens in the real world.
So it moves from entertainment to mission-critical operations.
Exactly. Or think automotive. You don't build a clay model of a car anymore. You build it in Unity to test how light reflects off the dashboard or how the aerodynamics work. And they're partnering with the big guns on this. Microsoft Azure, for example. They have these Unity industry bundles designed for these clients.
Which is a huge deal because it reduces that hit-driven risk from gaming. If the gaming market has a bad year, the industrial sector, construction, aerospace might still be booming.
It creates a revenue floor. So if you stack all this up, you have a sticky product, 70% mobile share, high gross margins, a leaner workforce, new revenue streams, and the stock is trading around $30.
That brings us right to the valuation gap. I saw a note from Needham analysts this morning.
Yes, despite this crash, Needham still has price targets as high as $50.
Wow. So if the stock is at $30 and the target is $50, that is a potential 60% upside from here.
Theoretically, yeah. It implies that the current sell-off has totally disconnected the price from what they see as the fundamental value. The smart money might be looking at this $30 level as a gift.
But we can't talk about tech in 2026 without talking about AI. Is Unity getting left behind? Because the narrative for a while was that AI would just write the code itself, making Unity obsolete.
That's the fear, but the bulls would argue the opposite. They point to tools they're building like Unity, Muse, and Centis. These are AI-driven tools that are integrated into the engine.
So instead of replacing the developer, it amplifies them.
It just lowers the barrier to entry. If AI can help me code or help me generate a texture just by typing a prompt, suddenly I don't need a computer science degree to build a game on Unity.
Which expands the total addressable market.
That's the bull case, that you go from millions of developers to tens of millions of creators.
Okay, hold on though. I feel like we're painting a very rosy picture here. Sticky product, cheap stock, AI tailwinds. But the stock dropped 30% yesterday. The market isn't stupid. It didn't do that for no reason. We have to look at the flip side. Let's get into the bear case. Why should we be worried?
Well, we have to go right back to that guidance shock. We kind of brushed past it, but we need to look at the why. The Q1 2026 revenue guidance wasn't just a miss. It suggests a slowdown at the exact moment people expected the restructuring to kickstart growth.
It signals that maybe the demand just isn't there. Or worse, that their main clients, the mobile game developers, are the ones who are struggling.
That is a huge part of it. The mobile gaming market has been under immense pressure ever since all the privacy changes around user tracking. It's way harder to find those whales, the big spenders.
And if game developers aren't making money, they aren't spending money on Unity's ad network.
Exactly. And while we praised those gross margins earlier, that 74%, the bottom line is still, well, it's ugly, isn't it?
It is ugly. We cannot sugarcoat it.
Despite that 74% gross margin, their EBIT margin, that's earnings before interest and taxes, is negative 22.5%.
Wait, how do you go from keeping 74 cents on the dollar to losing 22 cents on the dollar? That is a massive swing.
It is entirely down to operating expenses, R&D, sales, marketing. Even with the cuts, they are still spending very heavily to grow. And pre-tax profits, negative 39.4%.
Wow. That is nearly 40 cents of loss for every single dollar of revenue.
Exactly. They are not profitable on a GAAP basis yet. For a conservative investor, seeing a company that loses 40 cents on the dollar before taxes is a massive, massive red flag.
Especially in a high-rate environment where money isn't free.
You can't pay your bills with adjusted EBITDA, you pay them with cash.
It definitely makes you nervous. It suggests that if that growth stops, the whole math just breaks. And then there's the competition. We mentioned the moat, but moats can be crossed. Unreal Engine's always the big rival, but there's a new bogeyman in the room. Google, Project Genie.
This is the long-term fear that keeps Unity investors up at night. Project Genie is Google's AI for generating entire 3D environments.
And this goes back to that AI double-edged sword. If I can just type into a Google prompt, create a 3D forest with a castle, and the AI generates a fully interactive world, do I need Unity anymore?
That is the existential threat. Right now, Unity is the canvas and the paintbrush. But if AI becomes a magic wand that just creates the painting for you, do you still need the canvas?
Does the engine become obsolete because the AI is the engine?
It's the Kodak moment. Kodak owned film, but they didn't own digital. Is Unity the film? It's a valid concern. It's not happening tomorrow, but technology moves incredibly fast.
Okay, let's talk about the Grow segment briefly. Their ad business. That's supposed to be the cash cow that funds all the R&D. How's that holding up?
It's volatile. I mean, the Grow segment grew mid-teens recently, which is good, but ad revenue is fickle. It relies on the health of the mobile ecosystem.
Right.
If advertisers pull back, or if ad spending churns more, that revenue recovery could stall out fast. And since ads are a huge part of their cash flow, that volatility scares investors. They want predictable SaaS revenue, not fluctuating ad dollars.
And let's just be honest about the sentiment. When a stock gaps down 30%, it breaks things on the chart.
It's a psychological breakdown. When you see a chart gap down like that, it just destroys support levels. Think about all the people who bought this thing at $35, $40, $45 over the last 6 months. They are all underwater now.
The bag holders.
Exactly. And human psychology says that every time the stock tries to rally back to $35 or $40, those people are going to sell just to get their money back. It creates a ceiling, this wall of supply that is very hard to break through.
So the mood is definitely bearish. You've got the guidance miss, no real profits, and this scary AI narrative. But for the opportunists listening, let's talk about what to watch. We have a beat-up stock, a confused market, a lot of noise. What are the signals in the next 30 days?
First, you have to watch the technicals, specifically the volume.
The crash on February 11th had huge volume, right?
Unusually high. And in technical analysis, massive volume on a massive drop can often signal volume exhaustion.
Meaning the sellers have just dumped everything they have.
Right. If everyone who wanted to panic has already panicked, then who is left to sell? So if we see the volume dry up over the next week and the price holds above that $30 mark, it could confirm that capitulation happened.
So $30 is the line in the sand.
It absolutely is. If it breaks below that, we could be looking at the mid-20s pretty quickly.
So stability at $30 is the first test. What about news? Anything on the calendar?
Keep your eyes on GDC, the Game Developers Conference.
That's usually in March, right?
Typically, yeah. Unity is expected to follow up their earnings call with product updates there. This is their big chance to change the narrative.
A do-over.
Totally. If they come out swinging with new features for Unity Industry or some killer AI tool, it could change the story from weak guidance to innovation machine. And then, of course, the next earnings report.
Q1 2026 earnings. Late April, early May.
That's the moment of truth. We'll see if that weak guidance was just management being conservative, what we call sandbagging, or if there's a real problem.
Sandbagging. A classic move. Lower the bar so low you can trip over it and still look like a hero.
Exactly. If they beat that weak guidance, the stock could rip higher because expectations are on the floor. But if they miss again, look out below.
And just briefly, On the macro side,
Watch sector rotation. If the Fed delays rate cuts, high-growth tech like Unity can be pretty volatile. But on the other hand, keep an eye on spatial computing.
AR and VR. The next Apple Vision Pro, the Quest headsets.
Yes. As that hardware gets cheaper and more popular, the demand for 3D content just explodes. You can't build a spatial app easily without a 3D engine. That's a massive tailwind for Unity that doesn't show up in next quarter's guidance, but matters for the next 5 years.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. We've covered a lot of ground. What does this all mean for the listener sitting on cash right now?
It's a classic risk-reward setup. You have a company with a massive, dominant moat, 70% of mobile games, and fantastic gross margins of nearly 75%. But it is trading at a steep discount because of 1 quarter of bad guidance and a scary profit and loss statement.
It feels like the market has just put the company in the penalty box.
It has. The lowdown here is simple. Is the market overreacting to the short-term guidance while ignoring the long-term margin expansion? If you believe the restructuring is real and the reset is working, $30 looks cheap. If you believe Google's AI is going to eat their lunch or that the ad market is broken, then $30 is expensive.
That's the trade. And I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We talked about AI killing the coding engine. Everyone is worried that Google or OpenAI will just replace Unity.
Right. The coding is dead argument.
But what if the opposite happens? What if AI doesn't kill the engine, but instead makes it so easy to use that every single person listening to this show becomes a game developer?
That is the trillion-dollar question. If Unity becomes the main interface for that AI, the market is vastly underestimating how big this could get.
Suddenly your customer base isn't 5 million developers, it's 500 million creators. Something to think about. That is a wrap for today's look at Unity.
Thanks for listening.
We will see you next time on the Easy Money Show. Stay curious.